What's up, everybody? How are you all doing this evening? Welcome back to another episode of Phenomenal Views. I am your host, Nick Smith, and I apologize for this review being late. For those who have watched my Fantastic Four review, I said at the end of the review I was going to do a review on the 2004 Fantastic Four movie, and I'm a man of my word. That is exactly what I am reviewing here today. So, little history with this movie. When this movie came out in 2004, I was like, oh yes, I gotta go see this. And I loved it so much, I went back and watched it at least 2 more times. So, for those who don't know, by the way, this review is going to contain spoilers, so if you have not watched this movie, I strongly suggest that you click off this video now. And for those who are staying, thank you for staying, but okay. Yeah, I'll give you guys a couple seconds to click and leave the video. Okay, so for those who are staying, let's get right into it. Fantastic Four is a movie that is about the very first comic book family of the Fantastic Four, which consists of Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and Ben Grimm, the Thing, who in this movie they are going up into space because they want to study DNA so they can try to figure out cures for things like cancer and how they can make kids live longer and stronger, healthier lives. So they get the funding from Victor Von Doom to go up into space, and so they can do what they need to do. And up in space, they are going to study the storm, and unfortunately they have a miscalculation. The storm collides with them, and we have the Fantastic Four. Now, when the storm hits them, it kind of shows how they got their powers. My friend and I were always wondering, what about the storm gave them their powers? Well, in the movie, when you watch it, there is a scene where it shows, like, Ben Grimm gets slammed up against the door in space. When Sue gets hit with it, it turns her invisible for a second. When Reed gets hit with it, it makes his neck stretch. When Johnny gets hit with it, kind of like you see kind of fire appearing. And I was like, okay, so that's kind of cool. That kind of does explain like what happened to them that gives them their powers. And so, you know, of course, they wake up, they have their powers, and they're basically trying throughout the whole entire movie to figure out what in the storm caused them to get their powers and to get rid of them. The only 2 people who do not want to get rid of their powers is Johnny Storm and Victor Von Doom. Now, all that said and done, the acting in this movie is not bad. The acting in this movie is actually pretty well. All the actors do a good job, except for Jessica Alba can be a little bit bland at times. Now, they do have the characteristics of the Fantastic Four right. Reed Richards is supposed to be the smartest guy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or in the Marvel Universe, and I feel like the guy who plays him, I want to say his name is Owen Gruffel. I cannot pronounce his last name. Gruffed. He plays Mr. Fantastic. I really felt like he was playing the smartest guy ever. And as I said with Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, I know he is Captain America, and I love him as Captain America, but I liked him in this film too. He plays this character up. You can tell Chris Evans is having a blast with this character, playing Johnny Storm, and I felt like he captured Johnny Storm perfectly, just from what I've always imagined what Johnny Storm would look like. I don't know if he's adequate to the comics. Like, I do not know if he is a faithful adaptation or not. Now, even though I said Sue Storm's acting is not that good in this movie, they do capture, I feel personally, that they do capture the essence of the Invisible Woman. Because the Invisible Woman, she is kind of like a mother. I'm trying to explain. She basically keeps the family straight. Like, she keeps everything level clear. She keeps everything leveled in the family. So there'll be scenes like when Johnny and the Thing are fighting, and she'll like get in between them, and like she's like, you know, you two need a timeout. Johnny, stop it. Like, you know, she would be like, and I really felt that Jessica Alba, even though her acting was not that good in the movie, the character she was trying to portray, I felt like it was a really good adaptation of the Invisible Woman. I did like what they did with the Thing. Now, a lot of people did not like the way the Thing looked. I personally liked him better in that other film. I'm going to say that film once. But I did like how they handled the fact that he's wanting to get back to normal. And when he goes back to his home and he sees his wife, she divorces him because of how he looks. And it deals with the whole entire fact that he has to try to accept the way how he is and learn from this. And it was a really, there's a couple scenes in this movie that were sad, because he even says in the movie, he's like, do you remember when we said together forever no matter what? And she's like, yeah. And when he shows her what she looks like, she's like, oh my gosh. And like, she's scared, she's terrified. And when she sees him again, she just takes off the ring and just throws it on the ground and leaves him. And I was like, oh man, that sucks. That really, really sucks. Everyone has their own character. Everyone has their own kind of story in this movie. With Ben Grimm, with that, you have Reed, who's trying to get everyone back to normal. Also is trying to get his relation back with Sue. And also with Sue, who is trying to kind of keep everyone level-headed, trying to keep everyone together. Now, with all that said, I know that Doctor Doom is not portrayed adequately in this movie, but I like this version of Doctor Doom. I know I'm probably going to get hate mail, but I like this version of Doctor Doom. Although there are some problems, they do portray Doom as he's always wanted power, and you know, that's honestly, well, he has always wanted power. But the fact of the matter is that the whole characteristic of Doom is he is wanting to practically save the world, but the only way he feels that he can do it is if he conquers it, so he can get rid of suffering and want. That is the way he feels is the only way to save the world. And so, you know, Victor Von Doom is one of the most powerful people in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to date. I mean, he is one of the most powerful villains ever. He runs his own country. He gave himself his own doctorate. But, now, I honestly loved how they played on him, like the fact, like later on in the movie, he was getting more dark and he was getting more evil than he already was. And the scene where he finally breaks open the case and pulls up that mask, I was like, oh, stuff is about to happen now. And when he put on the mask, I kind of felt a little bit intimidated by him. But with all that aside, Doom's motivations do not make much sense, and here's what I mean. The only person in the Fantastic Four in this movie that he really has any gripe against is Reed, and that is because he took Sue Storm from him. Other than that, he really doesn't have any other reason to take out the Fantastic Four. Like he really doesn't. Like 1 minute, like he's only mad at Reed. That's it. But like later on, like in the film, like for some reason he wants to kill Johnny. He tries to kill Sue after she comes back to save Reed. But, in the things that are going on with Doom is he is losing money in the bank from his company, and what Reed was going to try to do with this mission, it was going to give him more money and his company would have been saved. But because of what went wrong, he's more evil, he's pissed off, and he's wanting to get rid of the person who took everything from him. So when he captures Mr. Fantastic, and he does this thing to him, like where he ties him up to this, what was it? He freezes him, and he's like, he asks him a science question. He's like, what happens to rubber when it's super cooled? And he's like, is that painful? You don't know the meaning of the word. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. And it's like when he was doing this to Reed, I was like, oh man, this guy's sick. But then things kind of don't start to make sense, because then he goes after the rest of the Fantastic Four, and he really doesn't have any gripe against them other than the fact that he's evil and he wants to kill them. I mean, he really has no reason to go after them. But okay, but like with the whole entire thing with the Thing is Victor has cameras in the Baxter building, and so he's watching everything that they're doing. Reed's working on this machine to get them all back to normal, and when Reed tries it and it doesn't work, he says he needs more power. So Doom knows what Ben has been going through, so he tricks Ben into thinking that Reed is done caring about him, to where he will get Ben to come to the Baxter building so he can get him in the machine and make the power go higher so he can get rid of the Thing so he can take out Mr. Fantastic. That is the only reason he wants to take out Ben, just to remove him, not even kill him. He just wants to get rid of him so he can get more power and take out Reed. Like, that's it. He really has no other reason than going after the Fantastic Four except because they're coming after him for him trying to kill them. But now, one thing I do want to talk about is chemistry in this movie, and Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis, I love their chemistry with each other. It is so funny. I really believe that these are the characters from the Fantastic Four, Johnny Storm and the Thing, arguing with each other. Like, funny lines like, "You think that's funny, Pebbles?" Or, when Ben is looking at his ring, Johnny's just like, "Where are your ears?" And I was just like, that is definitely Johnny Storm. I loved the banter back and forth between the two. It was really funny, and it really created for some good moments. That doesn't mean that this film isn't cheesy. It has some cheesy moments. There is a montage. It's a funny one, but it is a montage, but it's fun. This movie is fun. I mean, the title for this movie, Fun, Fast, and Fantastic. I agree. I had such a blast with this movie. Every time I've watched it, I've liked it more and more, and it is just, it's a fun time. It really is. It's a really fun movie. And like with the final battle, when we get my favorite part in the whole entire movie is where Ben Grimm comes after him. He says, "It's clobbering time." And like how they introduced "It's clobbering time" is when Ben's leaving and Johnny's like, hey, look, check the people at the market gave me this. Come on, like you'll like it. And he presses the button and it's a toy and it's like, "It's clobbering time." It's catchy, right? And then he smashes it, and that's where he learned the line from. So when he comes in, he's like, "It's clobbering time." And when he hits him, he's like, "Man, I've been wanting to do that for so long." And him and Doom have a pretty good fight. I love the fight in this movie. There is like one fight scene, but the fact of the matter is that in this movie, it actually shows the Fantastic Four working together. The scene on the bridge, they are all working together to, one, get to Ben, two, save people from this accident, and you know, they're just trying to get back home, and they are actually working together to save people. And I was like, yes, that is what the Fantastic Four does. They help people, they save people, and they're actually working together. They are Marvel's first family, and it really shows. I think that it really shows in this movie who the Fantastic Four is, that they are Marvel's first family, and it was a blast to sit through. Even though they got a couple things wrong, this movie, I'm going to give Fantastic Four a B. I'm going to give Fantastic Four a B. I mean, you know, it's got some kind of bad acting by Jessica Alba, but other than that, it is a good, cheesy action comic book film that you will, and honestly, I don't think you'll be disappointed with this. There are some people who don't like it, but as a film, this is a fun film to sit through. I would gladly sit through this movie again. Guys, this has been another episode of Phenomenal Views. Put in the comments below, what did you think about Fantastic Four in 2004? What did you think about the actors? What did you think about the chemistry that they had? I know a lot of you are probably upset that Doom wasn't portrayed, but how did you like how they portrayed Doom anyway? I really want to know. And for those who are watching this movie and who enjoy my videos, thank you for enjoying my videos. I try my best to make my videos good for you. And the people that give me advice, I thank you for the advice you give me, and I'm trying my best to take it and put it in my videos. Have a good day, guys.